Let's have some fun today and talk some LinkedIn. Of course, my personal favorite subject. So, as mentioned, my name is Andy Pondillo. I am a senior content solutions consultant at LinkedIn. And what does that mean? It means I handle a little bit of everything from messaging, content, creative direction, and basically the clients that I handle, and I go into the rooms, speak to the marketing teams. I handle the clients that are a little bit of your non-traditional LinkedIn clients. So think hospitality. I work with oil and gas. I work with manufacturing. I'm kind of like, hey, LinkedIn can be cool. You know, that's like my thing. Let's make LinkedIn cool. Look, there's me. Rise of the LinkedIn influencer. Am I a LinkedIn influencer? By most definitions, probably not. But we're going to talk a little bit today as to what an influencer actually is. There's many definitions to it. There's a lot of tabooness, if that's such a word, to being a influencer on any type of channel. So you see here, I told you that I'm a LinkedIn consultant today, influencer question mark, but my background, radio host / burnout, like a lot of us in the radio and television industry. I had a little bit of a career there, hosted, did the top 40 music thing, produced some sports shows, but didn't quite get too far into probably where my goals were. But inevitably, it led me to social media OG, I like to call myself, started in doing these things on our radio pages back in the 2010s before we could even boost a post. I remember actually doing a video with one of those flip cameras. I'm probably dating myself and was like, this is like nerve-wracking to upload my first video to Facebook. So I go back a ways. One thing that I talk about with my story all the time, of course now at LinkedIn, very lucky to have worked my way here, but I spent a lot of time in what I would say grinding, figuring myself out as a marketer, struggling. I often tell the story, end of my 20s, unemployed, lost my job, was about to move back in with my parents, ex-girlfriends, friends, people who were close to me. Andy's a dreamer, wasted radio talent, can't figure it out, doesn't know what he's doing with his life, heard all the things. Turn around in 2018, I became a social media manager for those of us from Houston, Space Center Houston. That started to kind of get a new trajectory to my career. And then from there, I started to gain this specialty of LinkedIn. Always felt like I had these talents, these tools in the tool shed, but sometimes it takes a few stops to figure it out, finding the right spot for you. And very fortunate for people like Judy here that I followed very early days of LinkedIn. 3 of my jobs actually cited my LinkedIn posts as reasons why I was getting interviewed and considered for the role. I started doing this around 2018, 2017. I noticed a very distinct trajectory in where my career went when I started to use my authentic voice, both for speaking about myself, but also speaking about those in the industry. So, as I said, so you're an influencer too. Tom Brady looking back at the club right there. You know, like, I don't know what I consider myself, to be honest. Like, I'm trying to just get on the platform. What I try to do more than anything is bring my authenticity and kind of stress test what some of the LinkedIn products are. Do I invent the LinkedIn products? Do I send them in certain directions? No, I don't, but I help market them and consult them to our clients. So you'll see on here, influencers, lots of definitions. You'll see the last one, it's a little bit small text. A person that posts daily pictures of avocado toast for breakfast in exotic locations around the world. That is still, we laugh, but when I bring this up to Fortune 500 companies, CEOs, people that have lots of millions and millions of dollars, they could be easily capturing with thought leadership. They go to avocado toast, and they're like, I don't want to do that. So it's a constant battle that we have when we talk about this game right here. And of course, who else would we have for Gary Vee with his beautiful lighting and setup and stage? And then you have me doing my post. So we'll see what Gary Vee, if you don't believe me, we'll see what Gary Vee has to say about the future of LinkedIn.
The rise of the B2B influencer is going to be extraordinary. I think it's going to happen in the LinkedIn environment. The characters like myself and many others that are on speaking tour and writing books are going to rise very aggressively as LinkedIn becomes more and more of a video platform. I think it's a huge opportunity for a lot of you. Many of you that are sitting in cubicles right now in B2B companies and aspire. So looking forward to it. Going to throw my hat into the ring a bit, I'm sure, at some point. I'm probably already there at some level. Yeah, I mean, I basically think what's happened in B2C, consumable products, over the last decade on social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, is coming to a LinkedIn theater near you,
So Gary Vee is basically telling us that, hey, you're doing it on the other channels. LinkedIn can be cool. You do it yourself. So here's me trying it out. I do marketing tip videos. This is me talking about TikTok videos for LinkedIn. Not quite as much production as Gary has, but I've got some nice little backdrops right here. We're working on it.
When it comes to LinkedIn in 2025, I'm sure you're noticing the differences in video sizes, and video styles that we see on the platform, which typically lends to the question, is LinkedIn becoming more and more like TikTok? Now, this is a large statement and something that I've been handling in a lot of my consulting sessions lately. First, you need to think of TikTok as two things. There's TikTok 1, the platform, and there's TikTok 2, a video, also known as a TikTok. So it's important to reference which one you're bringing up in this conversation. So first off, no, it's not becoming TikTok the platform. But second, TikTok video or TikTok style is a style that is prevalent across all different types of media channels. It's the vertical video style, it's organic natured, it's speaking very one-to-one. I think all of us know that very, very well. Now when it comes to TikTok style, is that in at LinkedIn? Yes, vertical video is very much in. Yes, it's growing. Yes, the creator space is popping right now. But what are the key nuances as you take that vertical video unit and apply it to LinkedIn? Well, I say it's quite simple. It's the TikTok style. You want to be kind of quick to the punch as to what you're explaining. You want to be personable. And production value doesn't play a super large role. Now, what does play a large role? TikTok, the platform, is actually constructed for sound on. LinkedIn is constructed for sound off. So here is the key as you take that vertical video and move it to LinkedIn. You're trying to get this very out in front to a specific audience, especially if paid initiatives are involved. So who are you trying to reach? Is it your followers, or is it a new audience, a certain job title, a certain demo, a certain industry? That is what you're going to need to get out very clearly in those opening seconds of your video, preferably with some sort of graphics, some sort of writing on top of your video that is within your video safe zones. Again, TikTok style, maybe a little bit of LinkedIn now when we're talking about business professionals, but also how are you portraying that in mute to hopefully get a user to come off mute and watch your wonderful vertical video. Happy LinkedIning, everybody.
Look at that influencer right there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. What's stopping you from posting on LinkedIn? I think we've covered a lot of this in prior sessions, whether it's LinkedIn or other different channels. So not enough time to create thought leadership, can't find your niche, and then you don't want to develop another content strategy. You're already doing the pages. Now you're trying to market for an individual. Now you're doing your own marketing. Now you're doing TikTok and LinkedIn. So these types of questions right here, I'm going to try to show you where you can kind of maximize maybe what you have, how it transfers over well, and most importantly, how do you get into the LinkedIn mindset? If there is a slide today that I want you to take a picture of, remember, come back to, if you're trying to get more involved on LinkedIn, this is the slide for you. Why do people put their thumb on LinkedIn and decide to go on today? 80% to improve their career, news and industry, insights from leaders and experts, ways to further education. What does all of this kind of come together in? They want your original touch on something that might be happening in their career and is relevant to them. Hence, videos, stopping the scroll, why it's right for me. What you don't see in these numbers right here is going onto LinkedIn to get a job. Yes, LinkedIn is a career and jobs platform. People do still use it for those purposes, but 99% of the time, we are not in the market for a job or applying for jobs when we go to LinkedIn. So what is holding people on the platform? Next time someone says that, hey, LinkedIn's a jobs platform, Yes, but I would say it's more of a professional social networking platform. These are the reasons people engage with content. Now, thought leadership, lots of big numbers right here. This is one of those ones if you're trying to sell it through. $2.7 million annual value driven by thought leadership. Influencers, creators, call it what you want, according to executives across industries, 14x ROI. They're seeing numbers just like popping by getting executives to post on here. Now, when I say executives, you could be a creator. You don't have to be a CEO. You could be somebody that is an employee. A lot of the examples we feature tend to be some of the prevalent CEOs because those are the ones that are starting to set some of the trends right now for the platform. So if you see some of these users that I'm showing, these are high-ranking top voices. They are passing what I call the LinkedIn sniff test. They're all here for a reason. An example done well. This is McDonald's CEO Chris. I have these videos playing on mute from now on purpose because, as I discussed, 80% of our users will watch LinkedIn on mute. So if I clearly don't understand where the video is going, I may not stop. I may scroll past. So McDonald's Chris right here, he's very organic in nature. He talks about business. Sometimes he tries their new value menu options. He does a little bit of everything, but he's got a really honed-in strategy as he talks about McDonald's, someone that I definitely recommend following. You probably saw a few things on there where he's doing the vertical video, he's using the captions. We talked about what are the new trends for LinkedIn video right now, up to date. These trends that you see on screen, these were actually delivered from our editorial team. Right now, when it comes to being an influencer, creator, thought leader on LinkedIn, there is a lot being written when it comes to vertical video, and there's a lot that's changing. Who's writing those rules right now? It's not me. It's not LinkedIn. Andy, we don't like this. I'm not in charge of it. It's the users that are dictating what types of content are trending, and then in return, we're receiving the data and bringing it to you. So this new data that you see here about lengths and day in the lives and don't use your branded logo, it's all stuff I think we've been talking about today. So if you know TikTok best practices, Reels best practices, you're going to see a lot that's real in common with it. The 1 to 2 minutes in length, so I definitely agree with what we were talking about earlier in our previous session from Judy, is you don't want to go super long on videos. You're going to run yourself out of steam trying to just do too much all at once. When it was 2023, if I were to put this slide up, I would have said under 30 seconds. Now, we're actually seeing that people have a little bit more attention spans for this style of video. They want to watch up to a minute. They might even take it up to 2 minutes. The hotspot editorial is giving us right now is kind of the 60 seconds to 1 to 2 minutes length. But I always say don't get too focused on that. If you have a complete thought in 56 seconds, that's fine. If you have a complete thought in 1 minute and 48 seconds, that's fine. I more want complete thoughts, and I want it to be trendy, follow these creative best practices, and I want those first 2 seconds to matter. Thought leader video, influencer collaborations, employee storytelling, authentic aesthetic. You guys know this type of format right here. We all know it well. Do I need to be funny? Do I need to be on a raft? Is that all okay to be doing on LinkedIn? Andy, I want to run a professional video, but I'm afraid this just doesn't fit the LinkedIn vibe. That's going to be up to you for your brand to decide how much you want to lean into something like humor or anything of that nature. Some brands, it's right for them. Some don't like to go all in that direction. But all of them can work with the right strategy angled to the right target audience. So always be asking yourself, if you're a business owner, if you are managing a page, if you are corporate communications, PR, anything, who are you talking to? Who is your audience? Every post should be asking that. And that creative unit right there in the middle, it should be answering it really quickly. These are going to be high-produced videos right here. This is Anthony Capuano. He is the CEO of Marriott, and he is doing a phenomenal job on LinkedIn and maximizing his video content. So one of the things you'll notice with this, a lot of the videos we just showed were shooting net new videos. These videos are actually speaking engagements that he already had, and he lo-fied them in a way that it kind of fits this vertical video style. So expressing gratitude with Anthony Capuano, President and CEO of Marriott. First 2 seconds, it introduces me to him. He's a leader, he's an executive, but I know he's going to loosen up a little bit here, talk from a more personal side, interviewing Bill Marriott. So sit down interview. I can tell by the way this was shot, old broadcasting Andy, that this was not originally shot to be vertical video. This is production, lights, cameras, setup, sit down interviews, but they lo-fied it and put it in a way that's presentable on LinkedIn. LinkedIn likes this. This looks a lot better than just kind of dropping in a high production commercial with no context. This allows the users to easily see where you're going with it. Same thing right here. This is a Talking Heads video. Anthony's talking about what type of money and investment, what they're doing from 2024 to 2025. You as a company, you as a leader for your brand, what are your objectives for 2025? What are your objectives for 2026? I bet your business partners will be curious to hear about it. You can post a long-form post, or you can tell us like this. This is a very natural way to do it. This last post right here by Anthony, this is a podcast interview he did, got the clips from the podcast and put it into a vertical format. They're actually announcing a $500,000 donation, but he announces it in the podcast itself, extract the video, and stretch this out. This technique right here can be utilized for podcasts. It can be utilized for a speaking engagement like I'm doing now. You best bet I'm going to be uploading these files up into Opus Pro and making some of these cuts. Any type of high-produced content can become LinkedIn-friendly vertical video content. So you can say no to net new if net new is what's holding you back, and do this. Newsletters. Judy was right on it with talking about video and newsletters as 1A, 1B. Those are the two priorities. I would say when it comes to finding content that gets you through the feed, through the white noise when it comes to LinkedIn. So if you are writing email marketing, no matter how big or small your list is, I started one. Like I said, I like to stress test everything that I promote. Social Media Confessions, please subscribe. It's very cool. I've only put out about 4 of these right now. I talk about how I would market Firefest 2. If you want to see something completely outlandish, go ahead and read that. Don't neglect commenting. As talked about earlier, commenting on different users, picking out who those potential business partners might be. This keeps you active on the feed, whether you're a CEO or whether you're someone at a company looking to get more involved in community. So this is my trick question, because you kind of probably know what direction I'm going with this. I'm not going to ask the class, but we often get in conversations with companies. Why don't they want to do thought leadership? Why don't they want to post on their behalf? Oftentimes it's because, Andy, this does not make money. So if you're one of those people, I'm going to try to change your mind here in the next couple of minutes. These are thought leader ads. If you've been in the social media game for a while, this is our CEO, Ryan Roslansky, right here. Look at where I have a blue underline. Ryan Roslansky, CEO at LinkedIn, promoted by LinkedIn. We've seen this, of course, kind of in the influencer game with Instagram, where you do have the partnership banners, you know that you're an influencer, you're associated with another company. This one is basically saying, I'm an employee of this company, and I am posting an ad or a boosted post, and this is who it's through. Thought leader ads give you an incredible advantage that your competitors won't have, because you can simply take an organic post from your page or from your user and then boost it through the campaign manager if you have that set up on LinkedIn. The way it looks right here, it does not look like an ad. We don't want thought leader ads to look like an ad. I know it sounds kind of goofy, but we want it to be an organic post, and it's something that finds you, that invites you to a conversation. So with this ad unit, we are seeing 14 times higher engagement than single image ads. What that means is basically a like, click, comment, share. Another analytic I don't have on here is that the engagement rate just on any singular thought leader ad is 7x versus and this is more related to video, but it's 7x compared to a page. So what does that mean? We hear the thing all the time. People are more likely to believe people than they are to believe companies. So if you were to boost the same content as a page, versus a creator, influencer, employee, executive, it is going to be 7 times less on the page traditionally. So we're still learning more and more about this product because it's new, but what we have learned are the best practices from your thought leadership is they're going to be exactly applicable to bring in a thought leader ad. It's just simply boosting the post, so think about how you would boost it. Target by industry, target by job title, job seniority, company lists, and more. These types of ad units, if you're trying to make business partnerships, you're like, Andy, engagement is cool, comments are cool, all this is cool, but it all falls apart if we try to launch this strategy and we're not going to be able to get some sort of business initiatives. This is where thought leader ads come in. You can actually take the post, it lives, it stays. You can run it for 30 days, run it for 60 days if you want. Maybe it's a really good post. You're talking about earnings reports. You're talking about what you're doing in the community. You're talking about these different things that would be relevant to a very subset of audience. Sometimes this could be small. There's only one industry you want to talk to. There's only one job you want to talk to. And maybe there's a company list. Maybe there's specific companies that you're trying to get out in front of. And then here, increase in click-through rates with thought leader ads. We talked about engagement, but also clicks. So if you're putting out reports, documents, things you need people to read, lots of juice to it, and you don't know, you get maybe like a high click-through rate or kind of expensive clicks in the past. If you have your thought leader put it out, that could be a way to do it. Now, this confused cat right here is basically me going through a lot of different sessions. I ask this question all the time when I talk to my clients. I said, who should be following your page? And sometimes I'm told, Andy, who should? What does your data say? And I'm like, I don't know. You got to tell me. Like, you have to direct the platforms to be able to get the actions you want them to have. So we talk about thought leader ads. What companies do you want to be associated with? What industries do you want to be associated with? What job titles from business to business partnerships should be associating with you. Even B2C, what buyer profile? We talk about this a lot in travel. It's the business traveler. What does your business traveler look like as a persona? We need to be answering those questions. So all here, fill these charts out. That's exactly who your ad is going to, but more so, it's who your ad is going to, but it's also the creative direction that you're going to put into play for your creatives. So we talked a lot about those first 2 seconds. How do you talk directly to that job title, to that user in those 2 seconds? You might see that promoted thing at the top. You see it, I see it, marketers see it. When you're doing this through your feed today, you're not looking at what's ad, what's organic content, what's ad, what's organic content. You're engaging with content that you think is interesting to you. So the power of this is you basically tell somebody why they're being targeted with an ad. So a few more examples we'll look through right here. Some top voices in business. This is Sarah. She is the CEO of Spanx. She is doing video, of course, which we like. More video, the merrier. But we haven't shown a lot of just still imagery posts. So the question I get all the time now is, Andy, should I only be posting video? Well, that can get tiresome. If I'm having to post video all the time, that's going to be a lot of video that I'm putting out there. So mix and match. Like, there's definitely a good mix and match approach you could do. If you're a baseball fan, videos are going to be probably more of your organic to paid strategies I'm trying to do. Your day-to-day post with your pictures could be some more of like your, company features, different things like that, what you're doing in communities. Again, you'll see podcast initiatives right here. If you are in the podcast world, which I highly recommend. We've talked a little bit about podcasts over the last 2 days. Again, they become really good pieces of content that you can leverage. So for our final slides right here, I brought a surprise out for some of our speakers. So if I were in the room, which I consult a handful of speakers, some people are kind of like more prevalent in the community of speaking and whatnot, and I'm kind of like, look, you don't need me to tell you how to speak, but I can tell you what I would do on LinkedIn with what you already have. So Roger, Austin, Katie, 3 excellent speakers already. We don't need to advise them on any of their speaking talents. They're 10 out of 10, top tier. They inspired me over these last couple of days. But if I were looking at their content on LinkedIn, what might I do? So we got Roger right here. He's killing it as usual. We got his captions at the bottom. We see him doing his thing. He's talking to the marketing community. He is the plumber on YouTube. If I were to go to the LinkedIn audience, let's say that Roger's like, hey, Andy, I want to utilize this strategy, and I want to get new business partners. I want to speak directly to maybe getting a speaking opportunity, or I want to, have someone sponsor my podcast, or anything of that nature. What would I do? It would just simply be, I put the exact same content you see right there. I have a caption at the front, and I address exactly who I'm talking to. Want to partner with Roger? Plumbing tips for your business? Horrible copywriting on my part, but you get where I'm going with it. Now, Austin right here, he's trying to get Sam Altman to speak at AI World. What am I thinking right here? The caption is exactly what I need. He's showing what he wants to do. Sam Altman, where you at? Get those, captions there, some branded captions on the lower thirds, never hurts anything. What I would do from here is, let's say this was a big brand initiative for Austin, and this was kind of something that sets his company apart if he's able to get Sam Altman in the door. What I would do is I would run a thought leader ad, and I would take a company list, and I would either target Sam's company directly. So I'm like, if he doesn't see it, someone at his company is going to be seeing it right away. And if it's not him, maybe I'm targeting his competitors, people in his world. I know that when I upload this list and I get a real tight audience and campaign manager, I can really secure who is seeing my content. A real power that I can't stress enough. You come away with something today is you can control who sees your content. Organic posts right here, these are for your followers. Paid social media thought leader ads, these are going to be for who you want to get them to. Katie right here, the business shift nobody is talking about. We had previously not been able to run boost or paid content on newsletters. Good news to all of you out there, we are now able to. I don't have any case studies on it. I'm just going to tell you to try it because it's new. And if I were Katie right there, I might be trying to boost out my newsletter specifically to the types of businesses that would potentially become a client for her. Notice none of these are super adsy, but they get in that feed, they start to engage you. Maybe you see it once, twice, 38 times, however many it takes, it's finessing those different users. So I kind of want to conclude with this over our last couple of minutes. What is stopping you? We talk a lot about detractors. And one thing I'm really big on when I present at LinkedIn, whether it's thought leadership, video strategy, content, messaging, I want to be able to answer detractors, and I want to do it in a positive and engaging way to start a conversation with you. So the biggest detractor I still see to this day is the nuance or tabooness of being a thought leader, influencer, creator. We had a lot of discussion over the last 2 days of people that are making some big bucks doing it. The way that we're thinking about it at LinkedIn might be a little different, but it still uses the same technique, and it still has the people saying it doesn't work. I always refer to this. I used AI on here. How much money is in influencer marketing in 2025? $22.2 billion, which is a significant increase from $15 billion. So a lot of people question influencer marketing. On the right, how big of an industry is the NFL? $20 billion. No one sits here and questions that the NFL isn't cool. A lot of people like football. They all know it makes money. No one questions the business of the NFL. Maybe not everyone likes to watch it, but no one questions if it makes money or if it's successful. Influencer marketing, we have to stop trying to answer that question. Does this work? Do I really want to do this? It's not for me. I feel like the more you say that in the other companies, especially what we saw today, Marriott's, big companies in the B2B space, they're going to leverage in 2025, 26, 28, they're going to leverage more and more money into these types of units. So I don't think it's something right now. We have to have tons of dollars to do this. See my fourth suggestion right here. Could you spend $30 a day, that's going to be $900 a month, $1,000 of marketing if you want to round up, into a thought leader ad? One post, one boost, one audience, and tell me what it does for you. That's my $900, $30 a day, $1,000 test that I would like for every business to try. Now, I don't know, budgets can range all over the board, but I do think that this is something that, you know, if it means doing one less event, like, you know, one less like after hours happy hour, like there's a number of things that people do in businesses that rack up $1,000. So if you can substitute it into this type of unit, I think it could be right for you. So that's a wrap as we talk about being an influencer on LinkedIn. I'll hang around, be sure to ask me questions, but hope it was helpful. Thank you all.
All right.